Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Change Your Thoughts and Change Your World. And I mean, the thing is behind all of this work that I do is to just offer perspective. I've been lucky enough to be touring up and down the country doing events, doing mediumship, psychic work and energy work now for the past 6 years. And I spend a lot of time talking about the product of you. And the product of you is you in your everyday environment. How do you come across? If you're looking to become a therapist or offer advice or guidance to anybody, my personal opinion is you should endeavour to do by leading by example. So when people are around you, they know that when you say certain things, that you are going to back up what you say. And if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect people to believe the product that you're selling? So it's all about working on mind management and working on how you portray yourself and how you put yourself across. So this led me to leading an avenue of thoughts, if you like. So I went down this avenue of thoughts about how I would put myself across. And it was a bit of a motivational thing as well. So I'll share it with you. And the hope is, like with all my work, is that it inspires thought. So this is actually called Believing in the Product of You. Now, my wife is a great source of inspiration, and I value her input into my spiritual considerations at the highest level. Mrs. P doesn't like or seek the attention that some people do. She considers things carefully and will often offer nuggets of wisdom at the time when they are needed. They are delivered in a forthright and honest manner. Recently, she's said a few things that have really struck a chord. Number one was valuing yourself and your time at the highest level. And number two, or two issues over the years that have been a battle for me, may or may not need any tinkering with. They are because they just are. It got me to thinking about self-worth and perspective. If you don't value yourself, who will? Despite one's best efforts at times, some things aren't resolvable. So a stage of acceptance is needed. And once successfully completed, this can lead then to closure, and then progress can be made. So it's closing one door, finding a way of coming to terms with it, and then being open enough to make that transformation. I often talk about management because personally, things I have over-analysed over the years have been as a result of considering what others may think about me. It's like writing a play that involves others, but you play all the roles, plus produce it and direct it. This means that there is no room for others' input, as this is all being constructed in your own mind. If we accept that this is the case, then we realise we can effectively change the outcome of our thought processes. Also, if we realise that often other people haven't even noticed what is going on with us, as they're too busy doing their own stuff. I always find a way to challenge the monkey chatter in my mind when it throws up these scenarios. I ask for evidence, and usually there isn't any. If there is, I can structure a response to change those outcomes. Because basically we're creatures of habit that follow patterns over many years. So you go down the same path pretty much every time with the same result until you realise that you want to make changes. So in the past, I have had my battles with lack of confidence and also wars with low mood and mood swings. I have learned to recognise the triggers and also found closure by accepting that it isn't all negative, as it's part of me and my eclectic personality. My moods really help me at times with creativity. What once was seen as a defence mechanism or a mask to hide behind is now recognised as a part of me that I want to embrace. It is in essence my product of me. It's who I am and what I present to the outside world. I am by nature a stubborn person with a lot of willpower, and in my mind this makes it hard for me to be defeated. That determined streak always gets up, shows up, and at times shouts "get up." This allows me to move forward and get on with things. When I talk, advise, guide, it is always from a personal standpoint. What works for me? I'm not a guru or anything like that. My sole wish is to help inspire people to find their best way of coping with anything that they've got going on in their mind. In my mind, there is no mental battle that you can't overcome if you believe in your own personal power and the product of you. So as I mentioned earlier, the product of you is quite simply who you are, what makes you you, and the way you appear as you present yourself to others. I always look for examples to illustrate my points, so I would like you to imagine you're going for a job interview. For most people, this would involve researching the job you're going for, preparing yourself mentally for any questions that might head your way. Ultimately, you have a short window of opportunity to present your best qualities to a potential employer, who will then decide if you are fit and the right fit for the position based on your presentation and how you sell yourself. You are the product that you are selling. Speak clearly, passionately, and highlight your better qualities. You are then more than likely to impress the judges. Consider the flip side. Mumble, look around absent-mindedly, don't demonstrate or don't show any personal pride. You can make a decision easy for the employer to make. Thanks, but no thanks. Life isn't easy. So a good first impression is important, as it's how you will be remembered. Something to consider is there is no such thing as perfection. You do the best that you can with the information and the skill set that you have at any one time. No matter how much people advise, guide or mentor you, it is your personal responsibility to decide how you interpret this information. I repeat, your progress is down to you. Only you can make that decision when your personal circumstances have reached a point where they are no longer tolerable. If what we are doing is no longer working, then we need to change what we are doing. When you construct a reason or an excuse for not doing something, the subconscious mind will accept this as fact, and you don't progress, and you have made this so. When you present yourself to others, you are inviting very many different energies to interact with you. Start to notice what is the normal for you. What do you attract towards you? Realise some people will value and others won't. How you react to the stimuli going on around you will either aid or hinder you as you negotiate life's pathways. People like people who are like themselves. As you send out your thoughts and energies, the universe reflects back. Do not accept lower valuations of the self. Another consideration for me is I observe people is when some put themselves up as a guide or mentor or coach and then adopt a do as I say and not as I do approach. People will soon lose faith in you if you adopt that mentality. Be you and be proud to be so. Commitment to oneself is another big consideration. Committing wholly to yourself, time and energy wise, is a lot of work. Know that you're capable of doing this. Realise also that major change takes time and dedication. Very rarely are there overnight successes. Trust yourself. How you act and how you present yourself to others will need regular evaluation and maintenance. Simply put, check in on yourself and evaluate your progress based on the evidence presented to you. Always believe in your own personal power, because if you don't, how can you expect anyone else to have that faith in you? If you accept failure or frequently use the word trying, which for me is expecting a shortcoming, as the norm, then how can you expect the universe to respond in a positive way? Like the rest of the world, I am experiencing at the moment the impact of rising prices. The further afield I travel, the more I notice that more people want me to travel to their area, as the work that I do is having a positive impact on them. This is what I love doing, but like with everything, this costs time and money, and as a business you cannot survive on good wishes and kind comments alone. Recently I've raised some of my prices to accommodate the extra distance travelled, and it's not been an easy decision, believe me. My biggest lesson from this has been to value myself. I do not try and decide what a client can and cannot afford, as recently my interpretation and perspective of this has been way off the mark. Clients, I feel, will always vote with their feet anyway. Price isn't always a consideration. My guidance is to go towards the product or the person that suits your personal needs. I will always consider others' positions, which is why I offer different reading options, but it will no longer be the deciding factor. When you realise that people don't pay you for your skill, they pay you for your time and your life hours, and once spent, this cannot be bought back. It should provide a moment of realisation as well. If you can get what you need at a fraction of the cost, then go there. Cheaper does not always equate to better. From the bottom of my heart, what I want for people is to be able to negotiate their pathways in life and be happy. If I can be a conduit for change, then I'm grateful. If I can't, there will be others that I can. So in this little broadcast, I just want to put out there, as I put this out there at the beginning of January 2024, there's little parts of me that are frustrated that this channel is not growing at the speed that I want it to. But I am absolutely convinced that it will pick up, that I will gain more subscribers. But you can't just sit there and think that there's a magical wand answer. So it takes effort. It takes maintenance. It takes leading by example. So there's lots of things that I'm considering at the moment, and hopefully that there'll be a podcast as a result of this. But what I want to say in closing is I'm grateful for all of the support, the kind comments and the recognition of the work that I do. I will always remain humble no matter where I end up, but I will no longer justify myself to anybody. This is my life, my product of me, and I sincerely believe it's my life's purpose to help guide others. My thoughts, like with all the time when I post anything on here, are just mine, and I always desire to inspire. I sit in front of a banner when I'm doing my spiritual work that says, I am what I am, I do what I do, I'm just me. No big-headedness, no pretentiousness or anything like that. But I am learning to value my eclectic head a lot more than I used to. So this is my attempt today of putting out energy for you, hoping that you find answers to the questions that you pose yourself. I'm a different kind of therapist in the fact that I think that to emerge from the darkness and into the light, we actually have to go and do what I call the dog work and go into that darker moments, into that into that shadowy past, to deal with anything there that's anchored in or stuck. And that's what I'm good at. Ex-prison officer of over a decade's experience helping people unlock doors. So, like with everything, as I say, just a few of my thoughts. And I close, like I'm doing regularly now, by saying, don't sweat the small stuff and go out there and shine. Thank you very much, guys, if you've got your way through this video, and please like and subscribe. There will be more content to come. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks a lot, guys.